What's up guys, Belle Marie here. So when I was a kid, I had two dream jobs. The first of which was I wanted to be a mermaid. That dream, however, got crushed very quickly. So my new second dream job became marine biology. I wanted to be a marine biologist, primarily on the research side of things. So between the ages of 10 to I'd say actually around 15, researching the ocean, rivers, lakes, really any sort of marine life kind of consumed me. And to this day, I still have a lot of fondness for that, and I really enjoy looking into ecosystems and how things work, not to mention keeping up with fairly new discoveries and things like that. So I wanted to share some of my favorite sea creatures that to this day still make me want to go live underwater. Remarkable appears to be a fairy tale creature. I feel it deep within my core that this is not a fish, but rather a trickster in disguise, ready to offer a riddle in exchange for my soul. If kelpies ever decided to hide in the ocean, this is what they would look like. If you are brave enough, you can try to own one. However, they are fragile bastards who will die very easy. Overall, I heard them call me from beneath the waves, but I am not foolish enough to pursue. I rate them a 7 out of 10. Satisfying to look at. These little creatures have their lives together better than I ever will. Bonus points for being almost see-through. I am positive that touching one of them will cure most, if not all, of my anxiety. They also speed run childhood, skipping years of growth pain in favor for a 48-hour trip to adulthood. If I ever do decide to reject humanity and join a hive mind, these guys are at the top of my list. I rate them a solid 7.5 out of 10. They get a half extra point for simply being more trustworthy than our lovely little sea dragons. The love child of something straight from Sailor Moon and a Pokemon evolution stone, this shining slug has the ability to force any of us into a magical girl transformation. Unfortunately for the slug, but luckily for the rest of you guys, I avoid responsibility as much as possible. I also refuse to change my outfit that often. Not to mention motion sickness is a high possibility and overall not a fun experience. However, I would use this darling as a nightlight and reflect on our every moonlit chance encounters with great fondness for what could have been. An easy 10 out of 10 from me. These guys fall into the same category as our dearly beloved frosted slugs. However, unlike our dear ice queens, these guys are not as toxic. Literally. The other ones could put you in a hospital. These guys probably won't. They could, but most likely won't. Obviously, that being said, really with all of these, you should not touch them because wild animal, you know. As with the previous slug, these guys could make any of us undergo a magical girl transformation. However, I do think their fashion sense would be a little more practical, and thus they'd have an easier time convincing me to join. The most common starfish that most people end up picturing is the sugar starfish or the 5-armed starfish. Needless to say, these are really cool looking shells until you remember that they're not a shell, they're actually an animal that can and will fight you. It moving isn't really enough to scare me away, however it is truly an uncanny sight to see, as it has no legs, only arms, and the more arms it has, the worse it feels. But this guy is the main culprit of my discomfort, and I am very thankful that those guys stay relatively close to the dark parts of the seafloor. 7 out of 10 for normal starfish, a special 6 out of 10 for that guy. Overall, most sea slugs provide me with a very tempting reason to go abandon humanity and join the fish, and this slug is no exception. Honestly, at this point, fuck mermaids. I want me a little slug friend. Look at it. It is just perfection. It is pure and untainted. Truly the only sinless one among us. I mean, look at those eyes. They're nicknamed leaf sheep, and rightfully so. If I ever become the main protagonist to anything, I want these little cuties to be my sidekick. 12 out of 10 rating. If I ever come across one, I will join it in the sea. You will not be able to stop me. Okay, this one's pretty self-explanatory, and it does apply to all 6,000 species of coral. All of them are pretty, and I really admire their ability to pick a spot, not move, and let food come to them. The Great Barrier Reef in Australia is a place that I would absolutely love to visit one day. That being said, like many creatures in this world, no matter how pretty it is, you should not touch because you could accidentally kill the entire colony. You don't want to have that much blood on your hands. Anyway, a solid 9 out of 10 for the beauty and diversity. Please stop chewing on my light. Please. If there's no video from me today, it's this guy's fault. He messed it up. This sweetheart of a shark is about as harmless as any animal can be towards a human. Obviously, as I've said multiple times, please do not touch wild animals. This one is one I feel like I have to especially say don't touch because while they pretty much never bite humans, there's only, as of this year, I believe less than 60 shark bites from these guys, and only 5 of them were unprovoked. Because some people seem to think that trying to pet a shark, or as one diver learned, trying to kiss a shark on the mouth is a smart idea. Then again, that diver was from Florida, so I'm not really surprised, just disappointed. On the bright side, however, should you ever get bit by one, they don't have very strong jaws. It truly cannot give you a lethal bite, which means at most you'll probably just need some stitches. Sadly, they are considered a threatened species, so 10 out of 10 from me. Okay, turtles in general are just wonderful, especially baby turtles, so automatically 10 out of 10 cute. I really hope I can own a turtle one day. Leatherback turtles in general are just extra cool because they're one of the biggest species. They're a very soothing color, and they look like they'd be really smooth to pet. And I've said this before, please don't touch. Please. I feel like I have to say that because so many people still try to touch them. And, you know, you're the one that's going to lose a hand if you do that. But more importantly, your bank account's going to lose. Because here in the States, touching any wild sea turtle is actually a felony because they are that threatened and endangered. So you're going to be paying a pretty big fine if you touch one of these. I believe the general rule, at least in Hawaii, is you need to stay about 10 feet away from them or else you're going to get fined. So look from a distance. It's not worth it. That being said, however, there are special places you can go to where you can actually assist in making sure that their eggs hatch and get to the ocean safely, which would be a really cool video one day that I want to try to do. Honestly, just bonus shout out to this long dead species. Seeing one would be a hell of a way to die. Okay, these guys are just so absolutely adorable, and as the name implies, look like little trees. I mean, what's not to love? They also look like they would mark the safe spaces within some sort of fantasy world. They have that little spiral, which is just overall satisfying to look at. Bonus points because much like a fern plant, they will shrink in on themselves if they feel threatened. They also get bonus points because when they're born, the babies will find a piece of coral that they like and stay there for the rest of their lives, which can actually be up to 30 years, so pretty long for an animal. They have a very easy 9.5 out of 10 from me. So there you have it, a list of sea creatures that tempt me to live under the waves permanently. There were actually a lot more to this list, primarily sea slugs, that I unfortunately had to cut. The most difficult ones for me to cut were the mantis shrimp, because honestly, I would let him sit on my shoulder, because he looks like he has centuries of wisdom to share with me as I embark on my own quest of personal discovery. The coconut octopus, a lovable balance of beauty and brain, who would honestly just be a comfort to have around. They'd probably give good hugs. And finally, we have the blue sea dragon. Truly not of this world, was sent here by the Fae without a doubt. I want to touch, despite knowing that it is toxic enough to potentially kill me. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Stay tuned to the channel, and soon I will share the creatures that prevent me from fulfilling my dream of being a mermaid. Love you all. Bye.